Do you ever need to let air into your life? I think it's a question raised and illustrated by Turner's Oak. Turner's Oak is a 200-year-old tree in Kew Gardens in West London. And around about this time in 2003, when the World Heritage Committee of UNESCO was meeting, it was made a site of special interest because in 1987, during a huge storm, it was lifted completely up into the air by the strength of the wind. And the people at Kew Gardens thought that along with 700 other trees in Kew Gardens, it had been destroyed by the storm. In fact, it was already not looking very well before that. It was clearly dying, and the people in Kew Gardens didn't know why. But they were very fond of it, and it was very old. And so when it was pulled up from its roots and just dropped down again onto the ground, they propped it up and left it and dealt with the other 700 trees that had been damaged by the storm first. When they came back to Turner's Oak 3 years later, they found that it had taken on a new life, that it was growing much more quickly than it had been before, that it was looking much more healthy. And when trying to work out what it was that was different, when they thought it would have died because its roots had been pulled out of the soil, the fact that it had just been dropped down again gave the possibility that air could get into the space between the roots, and oxygen could work its way into the tree because there was space. And so it was this accident of this storm that saved Turner's Oak from dying. And I thought to myself, this is a nice image of the way in which we sometimes can easily get pressed into ourselves. The reason it had become unhealthy was because so many visitors wanted to see it and trampled on the ground round about it, and the ground became very compressed, and sometimes our lives can become really compressed and we feel everything is we're hemmed in by everything around us. And sometimes we just need to make space for the oxygen, for the air to get into the gaps in our lives. Maybe by doing less, maybe by doing things more slowly, maybe by doing things differently. But somehow when we're beginning to feel stultified and as though life is losing its interest, we need to take stock and see if there isn't a way in which we can let more air into our lives.